Hi there, everyone. Here's some of us heading your way tonight. Your news at 9. How some area counties are planning for phase 2 of their COVID-19 vaccine rollouts.
Columbus School District loosens their mask requirement as Cherokee County removes their countywide mask mandate. I'm Zach Dodge with the story.
President Trump released a video tonight asking for no violence. While on Capitol Hill, the House impeached him for a second time. I'm Lauren Blanchard in Washington with more on the historic vote coming up.
Doug Henning is weather. Jacob Leonard has sports. This is KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Thank you for joining us. I'm Jordan Albee. The House historically impeaches President Trump for a second time. Democrats and some Republicans argue his actions last Wednesday led to the violent attack on the Capitol. Meanwhile, President Trump is issuing an address to the country about political violence. Fox News correspondent Lauren Blanchard reports from Washington.
Senate Leader Mitch McConnell says the president and Congress should focus on the transition because he says he doesn't plan for there to be an impeachment trial until after the inauguration.
I am calling on all Americans to overcome the passions of the moment and join together as one American people.
In a video released from the White House, President Trump addressed the riots last week at the Capitol, calling for an end to political violence and censorship. He did not address being impeached for a second time by the House. During a signing ceremony on Capitol Hill, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi said Democrats had no choice but to hold the impeachment vote.
In a bipartisan way, the House demonstrated that no one is above the law, not even the President of the United States. That Donald Trump is a clear and present danger to our country.
Democrats accuse President Trump of incitement of insurrection and say he bears responsibility for the January 6th attack. 10 Republicans joined in voting against the president.
There is no excuse for President Trump's actions.
Some Republicans wanted to censure the president. Others argued impeachment was rushed, given President Trump is out of office next week.
We fractured our nation using the same process before. Congress must be the glue that starts unifying everyone.
While the Senate leader will not bring lawmakers back early from break for a trial, Mitch McConnell has not said whether or not he supports the article of impeachment. In Washington, Lauren Blanchard, Fox News.
A Pittsburgh man is sentenced to prison for killing his father. Michael Woodson took an Alford plea to first-degree murder and aggravated burglary of a dwelling. He will serve a little more than 17 years in prison, also 3 years probation. An Alford plea means the defendant doesn't have to admit guilt, but does admit the state's case is strong enough to convict them. Police say back in April of last year, Woodson called 911, told them he fatally shot his dad. 53-year-old David Buckley was found dead inside the Pittsburgh house at 1313 West Atkinson. Some health departments in southeast Kansas are beginning to make plans for phase 2 distribution of the COVID-19 vaccine. KOAM's Chris Warner has more.
Each county has its own distribution plan on how vaccines will get to those who qualify. Cherokee County took to social media laying out their phase 2 plans and who will provide the vaccines.
The health department obviously is going to be one of those providers. There's 7 other providers that have signed up and been authorized to provide vaccine throughout the county. So everybody's at this point waiting to receive the vaccine, not knowing yet when the next shipment will arrive and how many doses will be in that.
Cherokee County's plan also includes setting up a number when they're ready that people can call to set up an appointment. The health department says social media will be utilized along with other public platforms to release plans and details as they become available. Crawford County's deputy health officer says they're still early in their phase 2 plans.
We are in the planning phases, and we have been communicating and working with our county partners and looking at the logistics of things, trying to select pod sites, and so we're working pretty hard on it.
Like Cherokee County, social media will be one of many platforms used to release information to the public. The multi-county health department that covers Allen, Anderson, Bourbon, and Woodson counties has also released information on social media, saying they too will use social media and other platforms to update residents on phase 2 plans and that they won't be taking appointments. Instead, there will be a large dispensing clinic site set up, and everyone over 65 will be able to get vaccinated at that clinic. In Southeast Kansas, Chris Warner, KOAM News.
Both Crawford and Cherokee County officials say if you have questions or concerns even about the vaccine, go ahead and call their offices for assistance. The Columbus School District in Kansas loosens its mask policy for students and staff in response to a change at the county level. On Monday, Cherokee County commissioners voted to end the county-wide mask mandate. KOAM's Zach Dodge has the story.
On Monday, commissioners in Cherokee County voted to end their countywide mask mandate, prompting a similar change in Columbus schools.
Our plan follows what the county does, so that took off the required mask mandate.
At the end of November, the county commission allowed Governor Kelly's statewide mandate to go into effect, meaning that when residents were inside a building or couldn't social distance, they had to wear a mask. Commissioner Corey Motes says the vote to drop the mandate happened because that's what the majority of residents wanted. Commissioner Lori Johnson, who was sworn in on Monday, says the same, but adds that their numbers were increasing after the mandate was put into place, saying that, quote, mandates aren't working. With County PIO David Groves adding it's currently unclear if that increase in cases was because of the holiday season at the end of the year. At the schools, it means students and staff won't have to wear masks inside of buildings.
We've always required masks on a school bus or in a school vehicle because those are very contained areas.
Smith says they will continue to social distance students and maintain all of their other safety protocols, and that it's not a huge change for parents or students since they're just going back to what they did for most of the fall semester, which was working at the time.
It seems like we were averaging about one a week over time, and as I said, we would isolate them pretty quickly and their whole family, and the parents have been great with that, keep the whole, all the students in the family home until we could figure it out.
And just like any time there's been a change with a mandate, Columbus residents have differing opinions. Several people we spoke to off camera say they're happy the commission dropped the mandate, saying it should be a personal choice. But others are disappointed in the decision.
With my health and a lot of people around here that can't go and get the vaccinations yet, they need to wear masks.
In Columbus, Zach Dodge, KOAM News.
Superintendent Brian Smith says the school board might look at the issue during their meeting at the beginning of February. Doug Hetty joining us now with our first look at the forecast. Could definitely feel that howling winds today.
Yeah, it was kind of windy out there, but it did help our temperatures warm up after we started at the freezing mark and then up to 55 during the afternoon. So a good chunk above where we should be for this time of the year. We have plenty of sunshine, but clouds are starting to increase once again as our next storm system is brewing out across the northern parts of the plains. And this is going to start to affect us late tonight and then into tomorrow morning. Now, through the overnight hours, it stays pretty windy. That's what's keeping our temperatures up. Most of us are sitting into the mid-40s. And as we go through the overnight hours, clouds increase, and we'll get a few random spotty, tiny little showers in here late tonight into tomorrow morning. It doesn't look like a big deal, just a few random little showers. But some snow chances by Friday. We're going to look at that here in a bit.
Doug, thank you. Joplin Health Department is reporting the city has exceeded 100 COVID-19 deaths. The department today announced the deaths of 5 people. Specifically, they included 2 women ages 73 and 93 and 3 men ages 76, 88 and 95. These latest deaths bring the county's total to 105. The Barton County Health Department reporting that county's 9th COVID death. Officials say the patient was a man in his 90s. Starting today, new CDC guidelines are in effect which should expand the number of people who are eligible for that coronavirus vaccine. Fox News correspondent Aisha Husney has more now from New York.
It's another grim milestone. More than 4,300 COVID-related deaths on Tuesday, a new record. But on Wednesday, new CDC guidelines taking effect, significantly expanding eligibility for the COVID vaccine. They say people age 65 or over and those under 65 with a serious condition should get vaccinated as soon as possible. HHS also announcing they're releasing all available doses, saying they have enough stockpiled now for the first and second doses of the vaccine.
They should do all that they can to make sure that they're giving vaccine to those who have been deemed highest risk based on our priority groups.
But so far, only about 10 million doses have been administered, meaning more than 60% are still sitting in freezers. And some doctors say they're pushing back on deep skepticism from the public about whether the vaccines are really safe.
The risk of COVID, long-term problems with COVID for people is so much higher than a bad thing happening with the vaccine.
And as this surge continues to accelerate, the CDC is now requiring all air travelers arriving in the U.S. to provide proof of a negative COVID test. Some frequent flyers say feeling safe in the air will be worth any delays caused by those new rules.
It's kind of part of the coronavirus right now. It's just one more thing.
Yeah, you can't fly. Take the test or don't fly. I think it's the right thing to do.
The new CDC rules are expected to go into effect on January 26th. In New York, Aisha Hasni, Fox News.
Dollar General is offering its employees a deal, some are saying. Get a COVID-19 vaccine and receive 4 hours of pay. This according to the Wall Street Journal. The retailer has 157,000 employees. It is among the first large U.S. employers to incentivize staff to be vaccinated. Some big employers have said they do want as many workers as possible to be vaccinated, but will stop short of requiring staff to get those shots. KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14 takes this time to honor another four-state hero, Rodney Page, served in the U.S. Navy from 1967 to 78. Native of Parsons, Kansas, Page spent time in Vietnam, also Guam. He also helped recover Apollo 12 after returning from the moon. We are proud to thank Petty Officer 3rd Class Rodney Page, tonight's four-state hero. Doug Heddy's up next with a complete look at the forecast, and later in sports, and East Newton seniors passing up the chance to play Division I basketball to focus on academics.
Well, it definitely turned out to be a pretty good day for us today. A little bit on the windy side, but temperatures fantastic as we warmed into the mid-50s for highs. Of course, we had quite a bit of sunshine as well. Great time-lapse Indigo Sky Casino and Resort. 47 still, and it's the south wind that's keeping our temps up. It's going to stay windy all night long. We have sustained winds at about 15, but through the night, we'll start to get winds gusting 25 upwards to 30. And then through the daytime hours tomorrow, we may even get winds gusting at about 35 miles per hour. 47 in Pitt, 45 in Miami, Seneca, 46 in Webbs or Coxie. Hair cooler at 43, but this is consistent. 41 in Yates Center, Grove at 45. Fort Scott checking in at 46 degrees. But look at the winds. They've been fairly strong all day long. We still have that consistent south wind at about 10 to 15. And again, these winds are going to increase a bit for us as we work into the daytime hours tomorrow. Also, clouds rolling in with our next storm system. So clouds starting to thicken up. And this is what we're going to see through the overnight hours. Now, most of the moisture is going to stay to our north. But eventually, underneath these clouds, we'll start to get at least a few random showers later on tonight. You can see all the rain and a lot of wind up through the Dakotas, where they are getting winds gusting 70 upwards to 80 miles per hour. So very strong storm system. It just doesn't have a ton of moisture really to work with. It's going to slide right into the Central Plains as we work into the next 24 to 48 hours and really kind of develop right on top of us. So here's tomorrow, and then it just kind of lags behind. And on the back side of the storm, we get a little bit of moisture, so we could get some light snow showers as we work into Friday. Then another system is going to drop in on Sunday that could give us a few snow showers Saturday night and then into Sunday morning. And then we have numerous waves out to the west that just kind of spit little chunks of energy at us all next week. So we are going to have these little chances for moisture almost each and every day, about 36 hours apart, and then increasing, especially late next week. Let's go through tonight. Clouds stick around. Random showers late tonight into tomorrow morning. Here's 8 a.m. Let's go through the morning hours. I think sunshine pops out. It actually turns out to be a pretty good day. Temperatures behind the front, even though it's going to be very windy, should make it up near 50. We're going to have those northwest winds at about 15 to 25. Clouds thicken back up tomorrow night. You can see snow showers to our north. And then as we work into Friday, some of these light snow showers start to work in. It's just going to be in the mid-30s, kind of a raw, nasty kind of January day, but we could get some minor accumulations, especially on the Missouri side. I would say anywhere from a dusting upwards to an inch, but something we want to watch over the next 24 to 36 hours. So we do have this little system or little precip system, but at least it's going to give us quite a bit cooler temperatures as we head into the weekend. Looking at next week, you can see we warm up by Monday, warm up by Wednesday, and then that storm system on Thursday, and then a better chance for a winter storm the last week of January. 49 for us tomorrow, 35, that's it, on Friday. And then a slight chance for snow Saturday night, slight chance for rain late on Monday, but it stays decently active over the next week.
Yeah, I was going to say lots of stuff happening in the forecast. Doug Heddy.
Kind of all over the place.
Yeah, thank you so much, Doug. Coming up, more preparations for next week.
Fences going up around the nation's capital in the days ahead of the inauguration. I'm Rich Edson in Washington. I'll have that story coming up.
Inauguration security is taking effect across D.C. days earlier than normal. Thousands of National Guard members are going to deploy to the city by Saturday in response to last week's riots. Fox News correspondent Rich Edson has more.
Hundreds of National Guard troops camping out in the halls of Congress Wednesday. Just some of the 20,000 members who will be in Washington, D.C. leading up to Inauguration Day. The Department of Defense announced Tuesday that those members of the National Guard surrounding the Capitol will be armed.
This is a building that now feels like it is vulnerable and a place where a lot of lawmakers are worried about showing up. You're going to see a very heavy law enforcement presence at the U.S. Capitol.
Last week's Capitol riots prompted new security measures across D.C. The Secret Service has started inaugural security 6 days early to coordinate the FBI, U.S. Marshals, and the National Guard. Large, non-scalable fencing now surrounds the Capitol building and Supreme Court, with widespread street closures around the city.
The nation needs to see that we are defending the people's house and our political representatives. And the more we show that, hopefully the less anyone that has evil or violent intent will not take action.
And more security preparations across the country. Crews boarded up windows and set up temporary fencing at state capitals as the FBI warns of possible armed protests in the days leading up to the inauguration.
The value is intelligence, and that's the general public. If you see something, report it.
FBI officials say they're combing through more than 100,000 photos and videos related to last week's riots. In Washington, Rich Edson, Fox News.
Just ahead, Olympians and the COVID-19 vaccine.
So should Olympic athletes be allowed to skip to the front of the COVID vaccine line? I'm Kevin Cork in Washington with more on that debate. Coming right up.
Should Olympic athletes jump to the front of the COVID-19 vaccine line? Olympic officials and health experts are wrapped up in this debate as the delayed Tokyo Games draw closer and closer. Fox News correspondent Kevin Cork explains both sides of the argument and what athletes themselves are saying about this.
With the Tokyo Olympics just a few months away, a contentious question is looming. Should athletes get priority access to the vaccine? Longtime International Olympic Committee member Dick Pound has said athletes should be vaccinated as soon as possible so the games can go ahead as planned. But many athletes themselves have spoken out against this idea, saying healthcare workers, seniors, and the vulnerable should be first in line. Infectious disease experts agree with the athletes, warning against meddling with vaccine distribution for the sake of the Olympics.
I think especially when you have a vaccine rollout program that hasn't been working very well, you're going to have a lot of people that are going to, I think, frankly, be quite angry and unhappy about that idea.
That's all to say if the Tokyo Games take place at all. Cases in Japan are surging, and the greater Tokyo region is currently under a state of emergency. Japan's prime minister, however, is determined to avoid yet another postponement of the Olympics, citing vaccinations as a glimmer of hope. But health experts say vaccines alone are not enough to safely host the world's biggest sports event in the middle of a pandemic.
If 60% of people are vaccinated by then, it's good. But please, for me, I would definitely say that please don't rely on the vaccine for yes or no to conduct Olympics.
If it were up to the general public, odds are the Olympics would not take place, as two recent polls found that more than 80% of the folks in Japan think the games should be delayed or canceled. In Washington, I'm Kevin Cork Fox News.
Got another question for you. If doing the laundry, loading the dishwasher, and pouring wine has been really stressful lately, you might want to check out this new invention. More on this when we come back. Remind yourself to relax or just want a little help around the house? Well, Samsung's got your back, they say anyway. Samsung is showcasing two new robots, Bot Care and Bot Handy. Both were unveiled at the Virtual Consumer Electronics Show this week. Bot Care uses artificial intelligence to be the perfect little robot assistant. It realizes when you've been on the computer for too long, suggests a short break, and also allows you to make conference calls using its screen. Now, Bot Handy, look at that guy. Yeah, thumbs up, buddy. And the extra hand you've always asked for, they say about Bot Handy. Bot Handy uses AI to understand and pick up objects like dishes and clothes. After it's done loading the dishwasher, you can have it pour you a glass of wine. Then all you have to do is kick back, relax. Both robots are still in development with no scheduled release dates. Now, you may be saying to yourself, do I need this? I mean, come on. Do I need this? But that's the thing about technology, you get it. And then you say to yourself, how did I live life without it, right? As long as it's not too expensive. You can live life without it then. 30 more minutes, news, weather, and sports coming your way.
Joplin business is out of business following a run-in with local law enforcement. You'll learn what happened at the Chill House coming up.
It's not just the Oval Office. President Trump's business interests may be in jeopardy in the wake of last week's Capitol riot. I'm Christina Parts-Nevelis in New York. That story ahead.
The owner of a business in downtown Joplin known as the Chill House is being charged with promoting gambling in the first degree. KOAM's Mike Mahoney spoke with the Joplin police captain to learn more.
You won't find anybody chilling at the Chill House in Joplin these days. That's because the business has closed its doors ever since the Joplin police raided the building for hosting illegal slot machines.
Detectives during their investigation found that there were slot machines inside the business that were paying cash winnings.
23 slot machines were seized during the Chill House raid, and the business owner is now looking at felony gambling charges.
The owner of the business, we've sought criminal charges against him, which is a Class E felony in the state of Missouri. So he is going through the court process. He'll have his day in court.
Slot machines are nothing new to the four-state area, but they are typically confined to casinos. In Missouri, you may have even seen one in a gas station, but the ones I encountered had labeling indicating these machines were no contest, no chance amusement devices, and were not in violation of the Show Me States gambling statutes. The JPD says that clearly wasn't the case at Chill House.
Gambling is controlled through the state of Missouri, and the Department of Public Safety has employees that they go out and this is what they investigate and they help regulate. And we've been working in conjunction with them during the course of the investigation.
In Joplin, Mike Mahoney, KOAM News.
KOAM reached out to the owner of the Chill House to get his side of the story, but did not receive a response as of yet anyway. There's a critical need for type O negative blood. Again, type O negative blood. The Community Blood Center in the Ozarks says reserves are alarmingly low because of very high usage levels in area hospitals. Also a negative impact on donation rates because of COVID-19. Donors can give at CBCO centers in Springfield, Joplin, Springdale, Arkansas, Bentonville, Arkansas. An extra benefit, donors receive a long-sleeved t-shirt, could also win a 2020 Nissan Kicks compact SUV. You can visit cbco.org for more information. Everyone is important to the community. That was the message of tomorrow's leaders today, meeting at the Advanced Technology Building in Joplin. Senior high school students talked with police and fire chiefs and business leaders about what they did to get into that business position.
Really learn about our community and about how they can be involved in a community and be a leader in the community. These are a group of leaders in their schools, but kind of crossing over and teaching them how they can use those same skills in a larger setting.
Full credit hours are given to high school seniors enrolled in the Tomorrow's Leaders Today programs, which is sponsored by the Joplin Area Chamber of Commerce. Last week's riot at the Capitol building putting more than Donald Trump's presidency in jeopardy. His businesses are also starting to see fallout from the deadly incident. Fox's Christina Parts-Nevelis is in New York with this story.
New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio on Wednesday announcing the city that President Trump once considered home will sever all business ties with him.
The President of the United States directed a mob against the United States Capitol. In light of this criminal act, the city of New York has determined that it is within our power to terminate all contracts with the Trump Organization.
The move could have devastating effects on the Trump Organization, costing them roughly $17 million a year in profits. From its contracts to operate 2 ice skating rinks and a carousel in Central Park and a golf course in the Bronx.
He will no longer profit from his relationship with New York City. We will not allow it.
A spokesperson for the Trump Organization firing back, telling Fox in a statement, quote, "The city of New York has no legal right to end our contracts, and if they elect to proceed, they will owe the Trump Organization over $30 million. This is nothing more than political discrimination." This comes just days after the PGA of America voted to pull the 2022 championship from Trump National Golf Club in New Jersey, and a social media suspension for the president. But not all of Donald Trump's business interests are in jeopardy. His business partner in Dubai says he's looking to expand.
As he will not be president, we would love to do with him any golf course around the world.
Despite the contract cancellations, President Trump will still run Trump Tower and the Trump International Hotel in Manhattan. In New York, Christina Parts-Nevelis, Fox News.
A bit later, many people could be in danger delaying medical care during this pandemic. How a trip to the doctor saved one man's life.
Well, it definitely turned out to be a great day for us today. A little bit on the windy side, but we had a decent amount of sunshine, some mid and upper level clouds that streamed through, but temperatures mid-50s, great time-lapse indigo sky, casino and resort. Zooming in downtown, currently outside, we sit at 47. Those south winds kind of keeping our temperatures up. So I only think we'll drop back about 38 or 40 degrees a little bit later on tonight. But most of us still into the mid-40s, 46 in Pittsburgh, 45 in Fairland. Neosho is sitting at 44, 42 in Sarcoxie as we have these strong southerly winds, which are really going to increase over the next day and a half. And that's going to allow our temperatures to stay at least on the warm side for us tonight. But look at these south winds kicking in at about 10 to 20. In fact, these will increase even more tomorrow, especially behind the cold front that is going to roll in during the, we'll call it early morning hours. Clouds starting to increase. Nothing underneath the clouds, so we are dry, but this whole storm system is wrapping up across the northern parts of the plains. It doesn't have a ton of moisture to work with down here, down south. Most of the moisture is staying to our north. You can see all the rain through the Dakotas and then switching over to a little bit of snow, and that's where the heaviest moisture is going to be as we work through the next 24 hours with this storm system. It is pulling out of the northern parts of the Rockies. It's going to slide right into the central parts of the plains. And it's a very strong system. It just doesn't have a ton of moisture to work with. Once we get on the backside on Friday, we're still going to have pretty strong winds, but we could get a little bit of light snow in here, and then this system will rotate right on out of here, and then another system drops in on Sunday that may give us a few snow showers Saturday night, and then heading into Sunday morning. So we have a lot of weak systems, but they will start to pick up, at least stronger systems, as we work into late next week. So clouds continue to increase tonight, random shower or two late tonight into tomorrow morning. So here's 8 a.m. I think any random showers we do have, they're going to be out of here by 9 or 10 o'clock. Then partly sunny skies, very windy, but we are going to warm up. 38 to start, 46 by noon, high temp right around 50. That colder air will start to sneak in as we head into the overnight hours tomorrow night. We'll drop back near freezing, clouds increase again, and then look at the light snow developing as we head into Friday morning. Light snow showers across the region. So just a cold January day as we're going to have the clouds and the light snow showers across the region, and most of those will move out by Friday evening. But we could have some minor snow accumulations with this on Friday. I think most areas would be a dusting to an inch, and the better chance for accumulations on the Missouri side, but still something we want to keep our eyes on over the next couple days. 49 tomorrow, 35 on Friday. Still kind of cool for the weekend. There's snow showers Saturday night, and then rain sneaks back in late in the day on Monday, and then again late in the day on Wednesday. So we have a lot of little systems over the next several days.
At least we got some good sunshine today. That was nice.
Yeah, it was a pretty good day.
Doug Hetty, thank you. Coming up in sports, an East Newton senior is passing up the opportunity to play college basketball to instead focus on academics. Plus, Those Kansas City Chiefs preparing for their playoff opener against Cleveland. Sports director Jacob Leonard joins us with details next.
Hey, if you're East Newton High School senior Connor Killian has offers to play basketball at the next level. That includes an offer to play at Division I Navy. We caught up with Killian today to talk about his future on the court. East Newton senior Connor Killian is having a special season.
We're having a lot of fun. This is my last year, and I've been around these guys for a long time. We've been playing for 4 years together, even before that. So, we're just trying to make this last season a good year for us, and we're trying to have fun doing it.
Killian can do it all for the Patriots. He's averaging 15 points, 5 rebounds, nearly 3 assists, and 2 steals per game, helping the team go 12-1 to start the season.
He's an exceptional ball handler, great passer, shoots it really well, and he's kind of one of those, baseball talk about 5-tool players. He's kind of one of those for us.
Killian has offers to play at the next level, including an offer from Division I Navy, but he's made the decision to pass up the chance to play in college to focus on studying engineering after high school.
I thought about it for a long time. I had great opportunities. I talked about it with my parents for a long time. I talked to other mentors like my coaches, but I figured what's best for me is just to pursue academics and my major.
His love for the game is not going anywhere.
I'm sure I'll miss basketball. I love basketball. I played it for a long time, but I think you miss everything you love, but it's just the next journey in my life, and I'm looking forward to doing that now.
But with his decision made, his focus now is making sure this East Newton team finishes the season as strong as they've started it.
We gained a lot of confidence, getting a lot of wins under our belt, and I think that really motivates us to want to do well in the postseason as well.
We're just taking it one day at a time. We're going to look at Friday and really, getting better and playing good basketball on Friday in a tough environment against a really good team, and then we'll look to the next opponent. And I think we got to keep things in perspective right now, for sure.
East Newton is currently ranked 9th in the state in the latest NBCA Class 4 rankings. The Patriots will be on the road against Nevada this Friday. At the college level tonight, Wichita State at home with a conference game against Tulsa. Wichita State pulls away tonight, winning 72-53. The Shockers 8-3 overall now with a 4-1 record in American Conference play. The Kansas City Chiefs are back on the field this weekend after a first-round bye to begin the playoffs. The Chiefs host the Cleveland Browns Sunday in the AFC divisional round. Now, while Kansas City was off, Cleveland beat the Pittsburgh Steelers last week 48-37. Now, this week's game features a pair of former Big 12 quarterbacks in Patrick Mahomes and Baker Mayfield. Mahomes, of course, played at Texas Tech, Mayfield for Oklahoma. Now, in college, Mayfield was 2-0 against Mahomes, but in the NFL so far, Mahomes and the Chiefs have won their only matchup so far.
Obviously, it's cool to get to play against him in such a big game in the playoffs and everything like that. Knowing him for a long time, since I was a senior in high school, and to be able to play on this stage it's going to be special. And I mean, he went to Oklahoma, went to Texas Tech, so he got the better of me in college. So I'll try to do my best to win in the NFL.
That's a look at sports. We're back with more news after this.
Research is showing many people are putting off those doctor appointments, emergency care needs as well during this pandemic. Nancy Chen reports, though, on how that could lead to deadly consequences.
Will Fontaine had been feeling tired and having chest pain for months, but the Florida grandfather says he was worried about being exposed to COVID-19, so he delayed seeing a doctor. When he finally made an appointment,
I had 100% blockage in one of my arteries and 80 and 70% in 2 of the other arteries.
Tests showed he could have had a heart attack at any moment and that he needed triple bypass surgery.
Do you think you would be here today without that surgery?
Feeling as good as I do now and how bad I felt before, I'm not so sure that I would still be alive.
A survey from the Orlando Health Heart and Vascular Institute shows 67% of Americans are concerned about going to medical appointments when coronavirus rates are high.
There's still significant reservation in patient groups with regard to seeking medical care.
Nearly 3 in 5 are hesitant to go to the hospital for an emergency. Cardiothoracic surgeon Dr. Stephen Hoff worries that could have deadly consequences.
We believe it's very safe to come to a medical institution. Delays in diagnosis and treatment lead to bad outcomes.
Fontaine is glad he finally got the care he needed.
Getting back to playing with the grandkids and wearing them out instead of them wearing me out at the end of the day.
He urges others not to put off their health like he did.
Wow. All right, when we come back, a look at this year's most highly anticipated movies. There are many big new movies this new year, from reboots to sequels, blockbusters, and Bond. What type of Bond? James Bond, of course. We take a look at the highly anticipated films on the way. Here's Fox's Ashley Dvorkin.
I've come back to play.
Highly anticipated films of 2021 include big franchises postponed due to the pandemic.
Salute.
Daniel Craig's last Bond film was supposed to happen in 2020. That got postponed into the spring of 2021. No Time to Die. A lot of people looking forward to that because Rami Malek will play the villain in that film. Also, Fast and the Furious, the 9th installment of that series. My most anticipated would be Top Gun Maverick. Tom Cruise returning to that role. Sequel to A Quiet Place. Emily Blunt returns. John Krasinski is back to direct, and it's creepy, and there's more monsters.
Fight with you.
Marvel Studios has Black Widow.
Black Widow is that movie that we've been waiting. Their first movie back in theaters this May.
In new action movies, Better Call Bob Odenkirk.
It comes out in February. It's called Nobody, and it's being billed as like Bob Odenkirk's John Wick.
There will be plenty of reboots and reimaginings like Ghostbusters Afterlife.
A single mom moving with her family to a small town, and they begin to discover this connection to the original Ghostbusters. And when I say those original Ghostbusters, yes, most of them are said to be returning. Paul Rudd is the new star.
Return to the Matrix with Part 4 and revisit Dune.
This is a new adaptation of Frank Herbert's classic science fiction novel, and it stars Timothée Chalamet and Josh Brolin.
Plus, The Suicide Squad is back.
It has a new director in James Gunn, who's known for the Guardians of the Galaxy movies, and it's got a mix of returning characters from that first Suicide Squad movie, like Margot Robbie's Harley Quinn, and then new characters like John Cena's Peacemaker.
Those are just some of many 2021 movies heading your way in theaters and at home. Ashley Dvorkin, Fox News.
Looks like some awesome stuff to look forward to. That's our time for tonight. Thanks for joining us. Going to leave you with video from a Polish zoo of a newborn Indian rhino, an endangered species. Look at that little guy. Be safe. Do this all again tomorrow. See you then.